So let's go over education, not as a tool or as a source of building and developing ourselves, but as an investment. And why I'm saying this, why I want to talk about education as an investment. Well, the thing here is that many out there think that the years that it takes to actually finish any kind of education, it's way longer and you take so much time. And if in those same years you actually went out there and start working and start getting real experience, by the time those same amount of years has passed, the one that went into the real world and get into professional experience is 10 times ahead than the one that just came out of study, any kind of study. In my case, I'm talking about long period of study, which is university plus masters. So this is the topic. And is it really like that? The answer and the truth is yes. Those out there that are working way earlier than us, people who stay in the academic system for those periods of time, are ahead of us. And those guys are winning. So far. So far. Why so far? Well, let me tell you something. Yes, people who entrepreneur build companies, fail or succeed, doesn't matter. But did those things have the experience, have the knowledge, and have the connections to carry on during a period of times? But everything is not an infinite loop, and this is something that we really need to consider. Yes, those people have more experience. Yes, they're working faster, they're getting more money, whatever. But over the long run, which is what we intend to support, we intend to live a long period of time, we catch up. I'm not going to say if quicker or not quicker, or what's the pace towards this arrival point, but we catch up with those people. And there are moments where we will have the experience and they will lack the knowledge. So at some points there is a break-even point between experience and knowledge. And then this could be solved in one way or the other. So for the guys who went working ahead of us, they may need to go back into studies. If it's too late, what they will do is hire a new person that covers the missing gap of information in their company. And then for those that we studied, we have one option, which is after we studied, we get the experience, we now build a company with that experience and our knowledge. Which one is the correct path? Being an entrepreneur, then either studying or hiring someone to come into your company, or studying and then being an entrepreneur. There is no right answer. And things can go wrong or well for any of those candidates. But what I need to highlight of this is that don't get confused about people saying studying is a waste of time, of money, and overall a bad investment. Because it's a half of the actual truth and the actual perspective of everything, okay? So don't allow yourself to be lied and to get confused about those things, okay? And this is overall the first big point. So now that we have that set, that we now understand what is our starting point, what was other people's starting point, and that we can locate into each one of our journeys, because at the end we are customers or people who experience a journey. And every journey has three main areas. Pain points at the lowest, where everything is the hardest, where we actually spend the majority of time as people, as person, as customers of whatever, which is in the middle zone, in the orange area, where we are comfortable. We're neither comfortable, neither uncomfortable. We are on a weird situations where things could go well or wrong, but that's the point where we need to be, on the uncertainty. And then there is obviously good points. We don't want to be, for like 80% of the time, we need to be in that orange area. We need to be studying and being worried about having a job, or we are building a company, I'm worried about if we have the actual knowledge to get that success. If by somehow we stay all time in the success area, things could get biased really easy, and that we will start to believe that we live in a reality that it's not like that. And if we are actually in the red zone all the time, we'll be super sad, not really proactive, and we will lack that encouragement and overall happiness. So we all aspire to get to the green area, success, and live there for 100% of the time. But the truth is, we actually need to not be there. So we understand how we can achieve that. And once we fail and go back to orange or red zone, we can actually climb back. But that's really important. And that is something that is taught on school, on university, not directly, but indirectly, or that you can learn through the work experience of up and downs. Okay, now, I'm checking things. I'm gonna put it here for a while so you can get it. But the thing is, yeah, we covered that. We differ. So just to conclude everything, if by somehow you met someone who said that you waste your time, and especially in the business world, which is the one we are, that him, by being out there earlier, is 10 times ahead of you, don't let him laugh so fast. And remember one thing, there will be a moment in time where our capabilities and our specific knowledge will be required, either here or here, but it will be required. And in that moment is where we need to be there and jump into action, learn from the best and surpass them. So that's my point on studying or not for now. Let's keep going. I have more topics, then I will talk about my personal experience. There's one more for me. I don't think there's much debate about going into university or any kind of professional education. Where I study, the difference is like 2 years, where the professional education or professional formation, I don't know how you call it, it's a 2-year system where the last 6 months of it, you actually have to work. It's mandatory. And for the university, it's 4 years of studies here where I live. And then it's optional for the last six months to actually have any professional experience. So it's longer period of study in the university and shorter and more proactive into the world in the professional formation or education, or how you call it. I don't think there's debate that I'm choosing one or the other. I think it's pretty clear that somehow, unless our field of work or what we actually intend for our future, people sometimes usually take one or the other, depending on capabilities or what you're feeling or whatever you want. But here the debate, or where I think more people start getting worried about or afraid, is the master's level, the next step. So people actually start considering, is a master really needed for myself? Do I actually have to take it? And this differ a lot, especially if your family has a lot of academic background where they actually push you in a way, or not, and they just allow you to actually finish 4 years of university or whatever and then go directly into work. Here, I think this is very personal, but my take on it is, if you come from a background where there's a lot of uncertainty, you need to actually earn yourself living. You're not going to inherit any businesses, you're not going to inherit any local shops, or your family doesn't own anything and they all work in one field or the other. This is actually really beneficial for you having a master's, because the differentiation with the rest of the population is going to be higher. Then, depending on the sector or the profession you may want to go on, this actually change, and especially if you want to make a shift in directions. So if you're actually a software engineer and you want to go to electronics, you may actually need a master's to understand some of the things on the other field. If you for your entire life you went into sales and now you want to do analytics, you may actually have to, because you're shifting paths, and this change may need some kind of readjustment. this cannot be achieved inside a company, it's actually really beneficial to do it outside. If by other means you want to be a pastry chef, you making a master's may actually not be that beneficial for yourself, because you're going to actually start working on any kind of pastry and develop yourself there, get the experience, get the knowledge, get the techniques, and combine things at the same time. Things change. My rule is usually, if I want to go into a field or a sector where that is young, that is being very innovative and proactive, and it's starting to grow now, to actually don't get any masters and apply and get that job there. This could be the case of esports now, or any sort of content creation, influencing, all those kind of things. Masters is not really what is gonna teach us how to be out here. It's more our experience, what is gonna develop ourselves as professionals. If by other means I wanna go into the pharmaceutical sector, then 100% any sort of masters to be really good at what I have to do in the future. So trial and error. And then think if you actually need more studying or not. Be realistic with yourself, don't let other influence, and try. With this comes something that I think it's really beneficial, which is gap years. In between anything. I think the most powerful tool for our mind to get things clear is to take gap years when big changes are coming. This could be finishing university and starting a master's. This could be changing jobs. That implies not companies, but the overall workflow of what are we going to do. This may need anything. This may be being parents for the first time. Big changes may require some gap time in between to settle down everything, build a foundations, and then carry on from there. Because quick changes of big magnitude may be really unbeneficial, not beneficial, and injure, or I don't know how to say, may be detrimental towards our future itself. So having time in between does more good than bad by itself. Myself, I took 6 months between uni and masters, and in my mind it was really clear that I needed to keep studying right away. But over the long term, I saw those 6 months as some time to settle down, to relax, and to take the new challenges with a bit more energy, and not at mental fatigue that I could have if I went right from one thing into the other. And that allowed also for me to see that I want to keep studying, because in my case that was my choice before working any longer. There's other people who start working, stop for a while, start working, and then they never get back to studies because they found what they love. So these are the two things about thinking masters, doing heavy investment in that, and taking university gap years in those aspects. So more things. We talk about investment, and I use this word because it's not only monetary but also time consuming what investment are usually in masters. I mean, in education, it's not only time, it's not only money, it's also time. And we cannot let one or the other weight more. I think both represent the same quantity.